Gather near, the doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Ron, host of Dr. Ron Unfiltered Uncensored for the past 6 years. And I do welcome everyone with an attitude of gratitude, especially now, as my listeners know, I'm in Naples, Florida, and we have survived one of the worst hurricanes I've experienced. And I did live 13 years in Puerto Rico. So I have survived Hugo in 89, Georges in 98, Irma in 2017, and now Ian in 2022. So I have a lot to be thankful for, and I am very thankful for that. But this time off from podcasting has given me a chance to think about what I want to do, and I've had some friends get quite ill. I have some family members that are ill. So from now on, I'm going to get out of the political end of business, although, I advise you to continue to stay updated. Doctors are still the third leading cause of death. Prescription drugs, too many of them. We're taking too many drugs. Nobody, I'm not going to try and convince people to not use their cell phones. I'm not going to talk too much about the Wi-Fi, but we know our bodies are not made to withstand this 24/7 electromagnetic field. And I pray that when 5G is released, those of you that have elected to get jabbed don't get sick. Again, but I'm not going to talk about the jab because I'm getting tired of getting erased from YouTube and the other platforms. Because you cannot talk about the jab. You cannot talk about the side effects. You cannot talk about the truth. You cannot talk about science because the science is now owned by Bill Gates, the CDC, WHO, the UN. Science as we know it is no longer exists. But we're going to talk about things that keep us healthy, keep us resilient. We're going to talk about vitamins. We're going to talk about zinc. Because I've been sharing with you for a long time how it's a key element of any anti-inflammatory diet. And we're going to talk a lot about inflammation because it is the basis of all chronic diseases, including heart disease. It's not cholesterol, it's inflammation. We're going to talk how zinc can help your cognitive health. There isn't a day goes by that people ask me, well, how about this Prevagen? Well, there are proven ways to help your memory, including zinc, including coconut oil, including methylene blue. So these are the type of things I want to talk about. And then I also want to talk about your diet as we go on, because ultra-processed foods, they make up about 53% of all our calories now. 53%. Going up to 57%. And fresh food calories are down to about 27%. So do you think these processed foods with all these chemicals, we were without electricity here in my neighborhood for about 4 days. All of our natural produce and meats spoiled. But those of our neighbors who had processed foods, I guess their electricity could have been off for a month. Everything stayed good looking, almost edible. But you know what? Even the bugs didn't like it. They didn't make it go rancid. And I want to talk about sleeping. It's so important, restorative sleep. And I want to start giving you hints about what earthing and grounding. We've done shows on them, but we're going to continue to do these shows, but they're going to be 15, 20 minutes at a time. How to sleep correctly. Should you or should you not be taking melatonin? Well, those of you who have listened to me all these years know I like melatonin. I've been preaching melatonin as an antioxidant for years. But now I find out people taking it during the day. So this is counter to our normal rhythm of our body. So our bodies are just magnificent, magnificent. They will heal themselves. But we can't beat them up. So, I don't like medications, but sometimes they're needed. But what disturbs me even more is now certain physicians and healthcare practitioners are using supplements like a drug. Well, if you have condition A, take melatonin. If you have condition B, take glutathione. If you have condition C, take zinc. We have to think, we call ourselves holistic. It should be WHOLE, because we should always be thinking about the whole body. We should be thinking about our whole system and how it works normally. I don't know whether the kids in medical school are even taught physiology the way us older people were. But that's what we have to get back to. Have to get back to some real basics, some of the naturopathic medical basis of healing. I've talked to you about the Rockefeller medicine, 1910. Millions and millions of dollars poured in to get rid of homeopathy and natural medicine and bring on the petrochemical drugs. We're better than that. So we want to die young, but at an old age. We don't want to flicker like a candle going out. When we go, we just want to get blown out. That's the end of it. And then the other area that I love, but have not talked about a lot about in the past, but we'll talk about in the future, is quantum healing, spontaneous healing. So that we get out of our linear thinking daily routine. We become aware of our bodies. We become aware of meditation. We become aware of energy. Because our health care is not really health care. Our medical care is not health care. It's really sickness care. So we want to be more health oriented. We want to switch from diseases to health potential. What is our health potential? We want to try and prevent as much as possible. And it's going to require coaching. And we're going to try and have guests, again, for only 15, 20 minutes to give you this type of coaching. We talk a lot about integrative medicine. Well, we have to actually practice it now. And that's what I'm going to try and do. I want everyone to learn about your biofields. Okay, if we're going to talk about it, well, we have to get you educated about it and how we can heal with vibration. Everything in this universe has a frequency, a vibration, and this means energy. And all living things are composed of energy fields. Acupuncture, different qigong, different modalities that have come down through the ages have used our body's natural energy to heal itself. Our body has a pharmacy within it that can heal everything. We just have to let it happen. So this is the journey I hope we can go on together. We have to find out where our energy blockages are, where our disruptions of energy may be causing our health issues, how we can get more in harmony with nature. And of course, the basis of everything is in inflammation. So how can we use energy healing to decrease our inflammatory responses? Is there certain light frequencies? We should be talking about photo, bio, illumination healing, red light therapy, green light therapy, blue light therapy. And in allopathic medicine, the medicine taught to MDs and DOs now, there's a gap between scientific evidence. That's when health scientists learn something. And changes in patient care. That's actually when the practitioners start using this knowledge. You know what that gap is, ladies and gentlemen? That gap is 17 years. So that's why I call my dear friend and favorite guest on this program, Dr. Will Wong, I call him the canary in the coal mine, because statements he has made 10 and 12 years ago are being proven true today. But we all need our care now. Do any of us want to wait 17 years from now? I'll be over 100. Do I want to wait then? And we see that with the toxins in our environment. How long do you think that lag is? I mean, of the 60-some thousand toxins in our environment, how many do you think are actually tested? I think it's only like 1,000. I mean, I had that number when we did some programs on it, but it's not very many. And how about the dangers of electromagnetic fields? What do you think the lag is before they actually admit that these electromagnetic fields can cause dis-ease, inflammation? So these so-called quote-unquote new energy healing methods that we'll be talking about, from light therapy to high-dose melatonin, plant medication, they've been around for eons. But in our stressful, toxic world now, we have to put them into practice. So this is going to be the gist of the Dr. Ron Unfiltered Uncensored. The doctor in the house will be an appropriate opening and closing number for our show. And I hope you'll stay tuned. We'll try and do a live podcast every Tuesday, and we'll play it again at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, so it gets onto the different databases like Apple and Spotify. And if we have the time and the inclination, and we'll do some live Zoom meetings on Tuesdays, so you can take part. I mean, even in this live broadcast, we'll have it open so you can ask questions. We'll have appropriate guests, but just to keep it simple, right? To keep KISS formula. Keep it simple, stupid. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you that, because I've been a physician for 57 years. Doctors don't always know best anymore. Third leading cause of death, and when you add in prescriptions, it goes to number one. When you add in all the prescriptions my senior friends here in Florida take, the average person in the United States averages 14 prescriptions in their lifetime. 14 prescriptions a year. And I think the number is, the average number of Big Macs eaten by Americans is 4 or 5 per year. But that's going to tell you something, huh? And remember, what we're trained to do is to balance the side effects from these drugs that we prescribe for people so they don't kill you. Now there's some herbs and supplements that can kill you too. Okay? But again, I don't want you to use herbs and supplements like a drug. Let's see if we can use them like the food we eat. Because our diet, huh? It's not only what we eat, it's what we watch. So if you watch television 24 hours a day and are brainwashed and get this mass psychosis, you're not healthy. So what you watch and listen to and what you read, and you know what? If you hang around a lot of negative people, or people say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get my 15th shot. I'm going to get one every month. I'm getting my flu shot. I'm getting my measles shot. I'm getting," you know, that all uh, affects affects you. It's like eating food; it gets inside you. So be mindful of the things you put into your body, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And we have to get more mindful of the spirituality of our life. I'm not talking religion here, but we have to get spiritual. Somebody bigger than all of us. And we're put here for a reason, in my opinion. So I didn't want to preach today, but I want to give you an idea of what I'm thinking about for future podcasts. As I say, 15, 20 minutes, one subject. If we get taking calls, we can go longer. It doesn't matter. But no more about stuff about this Chinese virus. So we know it was a scam. We know that the journal articles were all made up. But we don't. How many of us? How many shows have you heard about quartz crystals and how you can program them? We may have to tell you at times about some death statistics because our life expectancy is going down for the first time in 100 years. I just can't let that go by if this continues. And that reminds me, if any of you really want to contribute anything to Florida relief, Casey DeSantis, the governor's wife, has a platform that 100% of the donations will go to hurricane victims without any intermediaries taking salaries. Casey DeSantis. And I want to, one more time, have to tell you why I'm going this route. Is also because the medical journals are funded by the pharmaceutical industry. 86% of clinical trials are funded by big pharma. 86%. A lot of these articles actually are written by big pharma and they get people to sign off on them. According to British Medical Journal, 50.9% of medical journal editors are paid large sums of money by these pharmaceutical companies. So I have to look at these now as marketing machines. The journals that I really studied most of my life. New England Journal is one and Lancet have let me down. And if I can find it, I think there were over 500. Is that what I read this morning? Let me see if I can find it. Research reveals, nope. Improve, nope. There it is. Major scientific publisher is retracting over 500 papers based on the discovery of unethical actions. So I'll try and find these for you and tell you what to look out for. But we used to look to JAMA and Lancet and the British Medical Journal, first-class journals for new and exciting research, peer-reviewed research. Been very disappointing to find out it's flawed. I am really disappointed, I tell you, because I am a medical doctor. I have 2 board certifications. How do you think I feel? How do I think I feel when I find out 80% of doctors are employed now? So if they don't do what their employer wants, they could get fired. If they don't do what the AMA wants, they could lose their license. No matter if they're Christian or what, they could lose their license. If they don't want to do abortions and their boss says they have to, they could lose their license. They could lose their livelihood. So, again, I don't want to preach. So, look, so for today, if you do any one thing, please turn off your Wi-Fi and your wireless printer when you go to bed. And I said, let me just tell you another story. And I live in a continuing care community, which is a lot of old people getting ready to die, but that's not my attitude. I'm here for other reasons. But as the electricity was out, everybody said, well, I'm really sleeping good. It must be because there's no TV and all. And actually, they were actually right and didn't know it. There was no Wi-Fi in our community. There was no TV in our community. There was less electromagnetic fields. There was no electric in our communities. That means that the wires surrounding the complex were all not transmitting electric. And you can't point this out to some individuals. Oh, that's just because I was tired. Or they'll come up with some excuse. But they won't even acknowledge that it's a possibility. That during the times when everything is normal, they're wearing their Apple Watches, they continually have their phone up to their head, opening their blood-brain barrier with the EMFs, giving themselves acoustic neuromas. You see where I'm going? Just turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Use a speaker on your phone. Or use a headset that has air tubes in it so the electromagnetic field doesn't get into your ears, into your brain. Simple things. We don't have to go crazy. It's not expensive. And I'm going to close, believe it or not, with this. There have been no deaths from vitamins. Again, confirmed, by America's largest database. That would be the annual report from the American Association of Poison Control Centers. 0 deaths from any vitamins. Again, we don't want them used as drugs, but 0 deaths. How many pharmaceutical company drugs can say that? Okay, so this is Dr. Ron. Thank you. That's all I can say. But I have an attitude of gratitude. I'm really grateful that my family and friends have survived this beast of a hurricane called Ian. I'm happy for my friends in Puerto Rico who have now gone through a little bit of Ian, but they were hurt with Fiona. We wish everybody the best of luck, and we wish everybody to be well, and God bless. And we'll see you next week at Tuesday for the first edition of a short Dr. Ron Unfiltered Uncensored, and we'll now call the programs in this podcast the Doctors in the House. So thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day. See you next week.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for the man had to say. If it's all about good health, it's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house, the doctor is in the house, the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you when the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you when the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. See you next week.